The last hurdle has been cleared. Jon Jones is free to return to the UFC octagon. I'm Mark Mundy from MMAfighting.com outside the California State Capitol in Sacramento. The California State Athletic Commission meeting just adjourned, and the commissioners there approved unanimously the application for Jon Jones to get his license to compete in mixed martial arts back. Jones is scheduled to fight Alexander Gustafsson at UFC 232 on December 29th for the UFC light heavyweight title. So that is the big news. Jon Jones is back. He's free and clear to go. He can fight in 2 weeks as scheduled in the big UFC year-end card. Aside from that, there were two other main takeaways from the CSAC meeting. CSAC Executive Officer Andy Foster came out publicly and said today that no longer does CSAC want to defer to USADA in cases involving anti-doping. USADA is the UFC's anti-doping partner, and Foster said that he does not want CSAC to defer to them as far as jurisdiction any longer. He wants CSAC to be the sole arbiter of doping cases in this state, and he does not want USADA involved in deciding sanctions. We spoke with Foster afterward, and he was adamant that USADA no longer adjudicates cases involving fighters licensed in California, so fights that may take place in the UFC in California, like the upcoming UFC 233, may be affected. It'll be interesting to see where that goes from here because USADA has not yet commented on this new development. The other main takeaway from today's hearing was the proposition from Commissioner Martha Shanner-Quidez that Jones enter into another anti-doping program, one run by VADA, the Voluntary Anti-Doping Agency. That program is not affiliated with the UFC or USADA. It is neutral. It's a third party. And Shanner-Quidez said that if Jones really wants to clear his name and prove that he is innocent, he will enter into this program, which is not at all affiliated. There's no financial relationship between VADA and the UFC, which she thought was important, although it was not contingent upon him getting his license back. The commission still gave him back his license, whether or not he agreed. Jones and his attorney, Howard Jacobs, deliberated for a few minutes over it, and they agreed in principle to signing up with VADA. However, they wanted to find out more about the program, what is being tested for, things like that. Jacobs said the devil is in the details, indeed. But again, Jones gets his license back, regardless of whether or not he signs up for VADA. So to summarize, Jon Jones is free and clear to return to the UFC octagon. He gave a $205,000 check to fulfill his fine to the commission today. We saw him sign it himself. But as far as the UFC, USADA, and the commission, there may be some things to think about and talk about in the future regarding how things work in this state. I'm Mark Mundy from MMAfighting.com from Sacramento. Stay posted here.